Whew. So yeah, my God, my boobs look big in this shot. This is not really, this is crazy. Jeez. All right, so the last couple weeks, last couple days actually, I have been, God, my boobs are not that big, but geez, they look huge. I don't like that, but I don't know what else to do. I have been I have been releasing a lot of anger. I've been releasing a lot of just pent up aggression around all the different findings of where medicine derived from and the mistakes that we keep repeating over and over and over again. So I've been really angry the last couple days, like seriously angry. And it's interesting. I had dreams last night about like hitting another car. Like I had a dream I did a hit and run, and my husband had a dream that someone hit him. And it was really, really weird that he had a dream someone hitting him in his car and boat, and then I had a dream that I hit somebody in my car and actually took off. And I'm just like, geez, I mean, these car dreams, these traveling dreams are really, really weird. And so it was active last night. And then yesterday, when I did that post about I'm just taking a break because I'm just pissed off at the world, I had to take a nap right after that. It was weird because I wasn't feeling the physical tiredness and pains or whatever that would cause me to take a nap. I was actually really angry to the point of where I then wanted to go and take a nap after I vented on Facebook. And so that is a psychological purging. And some of you, when you finally get to that point, you will be angry at the world. You will be angry at society. You'll be angry at a lot of things. Not that you're going to take down the world and destroy it, but intellectually, you will find a way to speak about it. And so when I first introduced the JJ Book Club, I wanted to hear everyone's stories about their journey with J Juice. But anytime you use something like J Juice as a center point, or Jesus Christ, or Allah, or any of the different prophets out there, or those that deem themselves a savior or a devil, then it turns into a hero worship. It turns into a religious revival. It turns into then a hard luck story. It turns into a religious type of thing. And then you start deifying someone inadvertently, unintentionally. And then you also aim to be deified in some way. And so when you are talking about how Jeju saved you, then that's exactly how these cults and the religions start, because someone thought that a person, place, or thing saved them, whether alive or dead. And that's where the hero, demigod, God worship comes from. And so then I had to be strategic. I had to figure out, how am I going to get my JJ crowd to stop doing the hero worship, stop doing the savior or hard luck stories, and how do you get them to be innovative? Because I can't force someone to be innovative. You don't know. When you don't see somebody on Facebook speaking, when you don't see them in their raw form or in their well-cultivated form, when all you see is the image they portray on Facebook and whatever they wrote, it could have taken them a minute to write, or it could have taken them 6 weeks to write and cultivate and perfect. And that to me isn't real. Okay? And so this is how I'm going to put out authentic information, authentic people in the JJ world. And let me tell you, I could be the only one doing what I'm doing, so you see the realness and not the fake image that's out there. But now I want people to put themselves out there on social media and let go of not only the hero worship and the demigod type of stuff, but also putting on a false front. Now, how many people in the JJ world can actually be real on Facebook and look at themselves? They might have a hard time looking at themselves on Facebook. Because when I do a video and I'm projecting an image out there, whatever form that I'm in, and I could be going, through a situation or feeling amazing, I'm looking at myself and I'm accepting myself. And I'm also projecting a thought process. I talk about myself and my situation, and then be an example that someone can survive going through all the different symptoms. And so what I realized then is that J juice never saved anyone. Yes, salt and water can be a cure. You've seen the testimonies the last 6 years of people finding relief when they didn't before, because antibiotics can only work so long. But then you switch over to something that's neutral, as and aggressive too, as salt and water. Yes, you will find relief. No different than some of the antibiotics out there. Okay, so the cures out there, whether they're in an antibiotic form or in a neutral form, that's still temporary. That's still a temporary relief. And then when the monster inside wants to rear its ugly head again, the pain will return. Will the cancer return? Not necessarily, but the pain is going to return, because the pain is the growth, is you growing. Okay, the reason why cancer was there, you were diagnosed because you had the immature B cells, and you also had simultaneously your parent cells trying to mature. And since you didn't know which one was which, and then you also had a diagnosis, then the only thing that you know is to go find an antibiotic from the medical holistic system. And some people do go into remission, obviously, because we know that when someone goes into oncology and they do chemotherapy and radiation, they get remission, but that antibiotics is working against them over time. People rapidly age, or they have fast forward the aging process, and that antibiotic has taken years off their life. Now with the J juice, that can work the same way. Even though it's not an antibiotic, when you're doing so much of the J juice or salt water, you're taking away any evolutionary potential, taking away substance, and you're also suppressing your appetite. And so then you deteriorate in a different way, and then you won't survive. Now, will you be pain-free as far as using any kind of saltwater flush or J juice as a cure? Not necessarily, because the cures are temporary. Why do you think people have gotten off the JJ when they thought that JJ would be a cure and stop their pain, but the pain still returned? They still had their issues. Now they're back in the medical system taking high blood pressure medicine. So obviously J juice isn't a cure indefinitely, especially when you have deep-seated issues. When I use salt water or J juice as a type of cure, it's because I have a paper cut. I go into my flour bag and I cut myself, because that flour bag, the flour, like sugar, is so stiff, and that bag attacks you, and I'm freaking paper cuts, or I get a mosquito bite and it itches, and so I take a cotton ball, soak it in some salt water, and I just put it on it, and then it stops the itch. So J juice can be a superficial cure. It can give you temporarily, even hormonal, even psychological anxiety relief sometimes. I experienced that right off the bat. But as far as deep-seated issues, J juice is a catalyst to bring those up, and people feel anxiety, pain, may even have an event. And so that's why, of course, there's that split in the world of the JJ. People love me and they hated me, because some people got relief. Other people had the catalyst version, and they had things happen during that time because they woke up the viruses that were laying dormant, that would have woken up at some point, but we preempted it so that way they didn't die from it, and they were eating food. Okay? And so really now, what's going to save you, what I want someone out there in the JJ world to put out there, is that JJ was a type of temporary relief that then had you redirect how you looked at pain and your life, and then you face the pain, you understand both sides of your alimentary canal, you took on COVID and any other predispositions, and you used nothing except food and sleep and water, and you got the poop out, you blew your nose, and then now you have a whole new way of looking at the world, and maybe there is a backstory. I'm not saying derived from a hard luck case, but you realize now that all of the medical holistic system means to suppress your superpower, which is facing the pain, to then give you a different way of looking at the world, and then also the strength to deal with your environment. And there might be something else that you could offer to the world that is so different than what I'm offering. You see, every single person has a special gift inside of them that they don't know what it is because it's been suppressed by the medical holistic industry. I'm coming from the historical portion of it, identifying what is the cause of all of our suffering, which is the antibiotics and the surgeries and all the drugs, and that we have been listening to dead scientists, dead doctors, dead ethologists and biologists, dead physicists, when we want to go and try to prolong our life, and we are taking cues from dead people like Imhotep that died 6,000, 7,000, however many thousands of years ago, and we haven't done anything different. But what other spin or perspective can you offer when you finally face the magic of pain? And so that's going to make, and when you talk about it on Facebook or talk about it through a video, whether it's YouTube, and you finally organize your thoughts, and you may come off disorganized. You might do a 1-minute video where the video is showing your face for a minute. And then the next week or the couple weeks later, it's like a 5-minute video or 2-minute video. You have a specific subject matter that you want to talk about, whatever it is. It could be your experience with COVID. It could be whatever. Okay? And then you start getting comfortable with looking at yourself. You get comfortable with the English language. You get comfortable with just speaking. And then ideas and energy starts flowing. And then you also know there's always going to be critics out there, but they're too focused on everybody else that they don't focus on themselves. They'll end up dealing with some kind of predisposed issue. So you really can't get mad at them or try to counter what they're saying, but you block all the bad energy out there. And you focus on your journey. It's about you. It truly is about you, because let me tell you, we all derive from the same, from the same people from 6,000 years ago. We're all dealing with the same issues, with the same anxieties. It may manifest differently at different times, but we all have an alimentary canal. We all get headaches. We all have different scares and different experiences that are relatively the same. We've all had some kind of trauma in our lives. No one is that special. That's what I said a couple years ago. Nobody is that special. And so when you can show an experience that you're not putting off a false image, you're not trying to be a demigod or a god or an influencer or a guru or a spiritual healer, and you're just a regular person who had to face your own predisposed issues, and it could be heart issues, it could be lung issues, it could be pneumonia, it could be who knows what, some kind of cancer. And you faced the pain. You fed yourself. You knew that both sides of your alimentary canal had to be manipulated in some way to get out all of those little B cell antibodies that caused all of your anxiety and your cancer and disease. And then you found some kind of relief. And you weren't worried about image or looking cute or selling some kind of whatever. You wanted authenticity to be the most predominant thing. And I'll tell you, that is a process to be authentic, not to hide behind the humors, hide behind the beauty and the cuteness and a well-cultivated intellectual, writing. That you are about authenticity, and you're not perfect. You're not going to be beautiful every single day. And some days you will, and then when you deal with stuff, some days you will be very ugly. And that's okay. Because you're now an open system adapting to all the viruses. You are facing your predisposed issues and you're surviving them. And, and then you will be angry. That's what I'm saying. When you actually face the pain, you'll be angry at the medical, holistic, maybe even your parents who didn't know any better. You don't really have to be like faulting them or demonizing them, but you can say, let me tell you, my parents were like children because they didn't know any better. They were listening to somebody else who was dead 6,000 years ago. They were listening to children like these doctors. These doctors are like Doogie Howser that age out, but we look at their advanced degrees and the wrinkles on their face as some kind of fucking credibility, when in actuality, their information is only 20 years old based upon someone from 6,000 years ago who has been dead for fucking centuries. And so then you can put things in perspective. Because it's not difficult. I mean, what I'm saying right now, it's not difficult when you actually study the first physician. You study people like Hammurabi, the 6 cradles of civilizations, all the different influencers of academia, the Greek mythology, Greek history, the Sumerian, India, Iran, all the different civilizations, and you realize that we are taking cues from dead people. The dead actually have more influence in people's lives than alive people do. That's what's so ironic, is that we are basing our lives on dead people. And that when you actually look at how our world is constructed around that, and then you look at your own life, and then you look at how you want to change your community and be a pioneer, let me tell you, you can add your own spin and your own perspective on history. You don't have to be a mouthpiece for J-Juice is not really where you're going to come from. Because really when it comes down to it, it's facing the pain. It's facing the demons. It's not hiding behind drugs, alcohol, sex, and a false image, or trying to be a god or a demigod. It's not about chasing so much social capital and so much wealth. It's not about victimizing or demonizing or worshiping anyone in politics, religion, or science. It's about facing the pain. Let me tell you, I've simplified it so much that you can do whatever you want with the information that I have. You can spin it any way you want and still come out to be where you are still facing the pain. The antibiotics still destroyed people, and people still have to deal with their predisposed issues. They can't get away from it, or else they will chase the light until they end up in indefinite darkness. Because that's what goes on in our side today. People chase the love and light, love and light, love and light until they end up in indefinite darkness. Now, on the other side of it, the JJ world is you face the darkness while you're still alive, you stay alive, and then you can adapt to the situations out there. You can adapt to your environment. You're not afraid to now go outside or hang out with a bunch of people unless you don't want to deal with somebody who is unhinged or deal with unpredictable situations. But I went today with my husband to different places to buy fish stuff. We went to the supermarket to get a steak. I went to Starbucks to get Starbucks, had a little bit of a stomach ache and really pooped a lot, and it was painful, but then it was over with. And my dog had a seizure yesterday, and she came out of it that quickly. My husband came home. It could have been the frequencies. And she came out of it quickly, and now she's doing fine. And so it's being that example. It's being a pioneer. That's how change is going to happen, is when the alive people who face the pain, who understand that they can actually face their predisposed issues, when they start talking and being that example to those, that's when the alive people will have more influence over the dead. And we barely, if at all, scratch the surface. I'm the only one that's talking. And so that's what my source of frustration is that I'm tired of being the only one talking. It may be 10, 20 years before anyone in the JJ world will drop their personas and get on Facebook and show people they're a real person dealing with real fucking issues, and that you are no different than them. Maybe the person that I might even contemplate even doing this would be someone like John when he's ready. But even then, he still has to figure out his stuff. Okay? But he has been the most verbal and not caring what people think on his Facebook. I'm not asking for anyone. I'm not asking for any disciples. But I want real shit on Facebook when it comes to facing these demons. Because we're right now, it's like the rubber's meeting the road. It's easy to be all about love, 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 and hearts and flowers and beauty and all the humor and all that stuff. And who knows, whatever else is out there. But let me tell you, humans gravitate towards raw intelligence. Humans gravitate towards someone going through something that they can identify with. The beauty and the love and the artsy fartsy shit's a dime a dozen. Anybody can be beautiful. Anyone can be lovey, lovey, lovey. Anyone can put out a pretty picture if they have the right equipment and they have the talent for it. But what is hard to come by is intelligence, authenticity, and dropping that fucking image. That's hard to come by. That's what humans are looking for. Because again, look on Facebook. You can see all the fucking doctored, filtered pictures. You can see all the pretty pictures of flowers and plants and pretty streams and whatever. Okay, fine. But what is rare is intelligence. What is rare? Someone getting on Facebook and talking about the magic of facing the pain. That's what's fucking rare. It's rare in the JJ world. And so if I'm going to evolve, I'm going to expect people in the JJ world to evolve. If they can't, fine. But at some point, if you want to surpass whatever fears and whatever doubts and who knows what else, if you really want to truly make a mark in humanity, give people what they absolutely need. Raw intelligence, raw information, and a path to get out of the suffering where they have control over their own body, mind, and spirit. So they're not giving their body, mind, and spirit and their children away to the science experimental community. And yeah. But Jillian, I want to represent J-Juice with music and with real estate and with, I don't know. You know how many musicians are out there? You know how many real estate agents are out there? You know how many builders are out there? That's not special. There are geniuses that haven't done the JJ world, the JJ Juice, that are out there putting out amazing fucking music. There are people out there groomed for major intelligence, academic, physics, chemistry, biology. But there's something to be said for not being programmed and groomed by somebody else. There's something to be said that when someone is done being cured and programmed, and when they're falling apart, this is where you come in and say, okay, yeah, you had all your music career and your acting career like Anne Heche. You had all of your groomed, programmed lifestyle of being a principal, managing partner for a real estate company. And now your body's falling apart and you still haven't seen your kids grow up. What kind of access to seeing the other side of life are you going to fucking give to the people around you? Or is it all about you and your accolades and all of the what you want to accomplish to then be another demigod? Or are you going to give those who are cured now, who will fall apart later, another access to life? And let me tell you, when you do face the pain and you get off the selfishness of the world that you live in, you will find an innovation and people will gravitate towards you because you are that fucking generous to humanity that you're willing to risk your reputation. You're willing to risk that someone is going to be like, ew, you don't look pretty, so you're going to risk somebody making fun of you. But you know what? That's the power to face what you were so afraid of. You're afraid of looking bad, afraid of sounding bad, afraid of a lot of things. And when you face your fears, whether it's getting on social media and Facebook and YouTube, when you face your fears of facing your predisposed issues, let me tell you, so much is going to be so available, because those that are stuck in the programming of trying to look cute, of putting off an image that they have a beautiful family and a perfect functioning family, they live in a jail of promoting an image. And you know, some of these images aren't real. Like Chris Watts and Shanann Watts. They were putting off an image, but you know that image was very fragile. And then someone went crazy and he killed his whole family. And they were the perfect looking family. And so the JJ world is giving people opportunity when they're done being cured and their body's falling apart, they have an access to then get back on the horse again. But it's going to be painful. Someone may be tired of their perfectly crafted life and they want to get out of that and they want to face the pain. Because if they wait till their body falls apart, it may be too far gone. Okay? And so the JJ world is a niche. But you got to stop falling into the God, demigod, and putting off the image and making light of really what the whole point of this is. This is not, again, not a religion, not a hard luck story, and not a savior type of situation. This is about you. And you're not exploiting anyone out there. You're not talking about anyone out there because no one else to talk about. This is your fucking journey. But you're giving people access to the power of the journey that they can survive the same kind, the situation that you're in some level. And then you take the wind out of the sails of those gods and demigods that do devil worship or hero worship or try to be a savior out there on YouTube and Facebook. The gurus, the ones that say, oh, you know, I'm going to go cancel this person, go cancel that person. You will take the power away from them because now, you know, that's all about the religion. Those on Dr. Phil, we were all about religion. Both sides were all about religion. Being a savior. Now you are diverging from that. But you have to acknowledge that right now you're promoting a religion. And if you can't acknowledge that, then you'll half-ass the JJ world and you won't evolve. And so that's why I'm upping the ante. I'm going to make it fucking hard for you to contribute to the JJ world because we are evolving. I'm not going to make it so easy for you to put out a piece of like, oh, a hard luck story, oh, a savior story, oh, a religious story. No. Now, I want people to see who you are and see what kind of product you're offering as far as a thought process. Because I'll be damned, I promote anyone that is putting out bullshit. Because again, it's easy to develop a story behind the scenes, taking years and years to craft your perfect storyline, like the Bible, like an autobiography, like all of that, and put out all these things that sound great, but we don't see the person. And good actors and actresses will develop a storyline and they can put it out there, but I'm not talking to actors and actresses. John is an actor or actress. Pip is an actor or actress. Bridget isn't an actor or actress. Krista, Tanya, Michael Gifford, Michael Savage, all of you guys, you're not actors and actresses, so you're not going to spend the time to develop a well-crafted story. It's either you're real or you're going to hide behind other stuff. Okay? And so that's why I elicit those, or I target my sights on those who aren't in those types of artistic fields. Because I'm telling you, even some of these artsy-fartsy types will not get on Facebook and talk about anything. And then there are ones that do because they are actors and actresses and salesmen. And so it's very easy for them to talk about their love, love, love and get on Facebook and be all like, fawning over something or another. But they're selling an image. They're selling their products, their clothing, their perfume lines, their cheap Chinese goods, their MLMs. But you'll never hear anything real out of them. They're just trying to sell you a product. You are the product. All right, bye.